Viewers, I'm Eduardo Jambo. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to use a generative AI called Qwen2 7B model. Before we begin, quick reminder that every day I host a live stream. You visit ojambo.com, you go to watch menu, then live submenu. You can see the topic for today's tutorial is called Review Generative AI Qwen2 7B model. The channel it's going to be on, and the day and time. And these are topics for future post-dated topics for future live streams. And also each of those articles will have a snippet at the top. It will tell you the exact day and time. So it's going to be Eastern time. And you're free to ask questions in a live chat about programming or lifestyle topics. And the link for that is, you can see here, you just click this link. And then you can log in there and you can submit your requests or questions or anything you want there. Again, based on programming or lifestyle topics. Or if you don't want to do that, you can just watch this video, or you can, it's also embedded on the, in this article a little bit below. That way you don't have to visit any third party. Also be sure to subscribe, like, follow, and leave comments for more frequent content. Thank you. Okay, with that out of the way, let's continue here. So Qwen2 is a very powerful LLM. It's an open source large language model. That's what LLM stands for. It's developed by Alibaba's DAMO Academy. So there's two ways to run this language, large language models. You can use, usually it's a web UI, or you can create your own, usually it's Python to like an API to connect to it. But I'm going to use Alpaca because Alpaca is a GUI. It just makes things much more easier, especially for me. So whether you're a developer, researcher, or just curious about AI, this post is for you. So Qwen2, as I mentioned, it's a family. It was released by Alibaba in 2024. It's designed to compete with models such as Llama, Mistral, and GTP style models. It's supposed to base and instruction tuned versions and comes in various sizes. You have the 0.5B, the parameters, up to 72B, optimized for multilingual and code generation tasks. So I tried to install this one, the 72B, and when I started running it, it actually said that I didn't have enough RAM. It wanted, I think, at least 48 gigs of RAM. I only have 16 on my system, so I had to remove it. And I had a pretty good result with the 7B from the previous tutorial, which was Mistral. So I'm hopeful this one will also do a decent job. So remember, I told you that you can watch the video. So this is a live stream. This is live. For example, if I play this, yeah, as you can see, it's live. It's actually playing here. And also, these are the screenshots. I'm not going to go through this right now. Obviously, you can look at them. But because we're going to do the exact same thing with the application, so that's why I'm going to go through this a little bit fast. There's no need to continue there because I said we're going to do the exact thing when the application opens up. So basically, what we're going to do today is we're going to, as I said, if you're using different operating systems, for example, if you're Mac OS or Windows or what is it called? Windows something Service Linux. I don't know what that stands for. You can install Ollama, and but I said I'm going to use the Alpaca GUI because I'm on Linux, Fedora Linux. So to install Alma, you can use the curl command to grab it, and then you can just follow instructions. Then you can do a pull for the Qwen2 instruct, and then you can run it. But I said I'm not going to do it that way. I'm going to do number 4 here, which I just use a Flatpak to install Alpaca from Jesser's com.jesser.alpaca. That's just more easy for me. And these are the questions that I asked it, the usual questions. Just to be fair, I want to see which AI will answer these questions properly. So you can, if you're impatient, you can look at the results. Just be careful that when you ask the same question, you might get a slightly different result, or even a completely different result every single time. So I think that also removes the bias, because when I ran it the first time, these are the results it gave me. So when I run it today, the results might be better or worse. Usually the results are usually better the second time I run this. So if you need help installing Qwen2 onto your server or your local operating system, or some device, whether it's like a Raspberry Pi or a phone or something, I'll be happy to help and assist you. You can contact me here on this ojambo.com, or you can contact Ojambo Services/contact. Just fill out the form below and we'll get back to you. Or you can even leave comments. That will be fine as well. Okay, with that said, let's get started. So I'm going to start up the application. I'm going to use Alpaca. As I said, I installed it using Flatpak. So I'm going to minimize this. It should open here. And to save time, I've already installed the Qwen2. As you can see, this is previous chat. Let me just delete that. So as you can see here, there's only one model. It's the Qwen2 7B. Just a quick review of this. So Alpaca is an application. You just go to Manage Models, and you can see I chose Qwen2 and it's 7B. And for example, I could have chosen other type, but I said 72B was too much for my system, and there was a problem. And the good thing about this one, I think this is probably the first one where it has the most amount of language. So this is actually pretty impressive, that at the 7B model, which is a 7.6B parameter size, it already comes with, look at all those languages. That is amazing. So of course you can, if you click a variable here, you can see Qwen2 is here, and you can see it says 0.5B to 110B parameters, but I chose, oh sorry, this is Qwen. Qwen2 is this one here. This one is the one that had the 72B, but I chose 7B because of memory issues. So then so let's get started here. So the first thing I'm going to ask this AI, generative AI, it's text-based. So I'm going to paste the question in here and I'll read it to you. So the question is, who is the mayor of Toronto? Now, I've repeated this, so if some of you and you don't understand why I asked this question, is that during the lockdown, the mayor of Toronto at that time, his name was John Tory, he was spending time with his alleged mistress. So he had to step down a little bit later. But what he was doing was he was basically demanding that we stay home, don't visit family, friends, our loved ones. Even basically only allowed out once a day. But then he was spending time with his alleged mistress. So the point is, this was kind of a trick question a few years ago, because we didn't actually have a mayor because he resigned. So that's why I asked this question. So I want to see if AI is smart enough. And I said, the reason I keep on asking this question is because obviously, since then, the current mayor of Toronto is actually Olivia Chow. So the funny thing I noticed about all these AIs when I ask this question is that, for example, I'll read you the answer. This one, it says, as of my last update in September 2021. So this AI model hasn't been updated since it says right there, September 2021. It says the mayor of Toronto, Canada, is John Tory. Please verify this information with a recent source if you need the most current details, as political positions can change over time. So this answer is so if this was 2021, this would actually be the correct answer. But since we are in 2025 at the time of this recording, this answer is incorrect. However, I'm not going to be, I'm going to give this one a partial answer, maybe even a 0.5, and I'll explain to you why. Because it clearly, this is the first time I've seen an AI do this. It actually says that as of its last update, so meaning that information it has is only up to 2021. So the mayor of Toronto is John Tory. So clearly, as I said, this is about 4 years later, the time of this recording from when it was last updated. So I'll give it, because it clearly also tells you that you should verify the information. So I like that answer. So I'll give this one a 0.5. Maybe a 0.25, but 0.5. So just to be fair, that's a very good answer. Another reason I asked this is also, I'm a little bit being tricky, is that you see, when I say who is the mayor of Toronto, I didn't specify Toronto what. I think there's actually a small town or city in California called Toronto, and there might be places obviously outside which are also called Toronto. There could be towns or villages. So Obviously, I think villages don't have mayors, but you get my point. Okay, so that's that answer I said is fine. So let's delete this answer. You can also, you see, if you I right click here, and then you can rename the chat, duplicate, export it, or delete. So I'm going to delete this one. Okay, so the next one is very simple. I'm going to ask it for some PHP code snippet to connect to a database. I will actually read my request to you guys. It's, I need a PHP code snippet to connect to a MySQL database. So the reason I asked this question is obviously it's for coding because I'm a programmer, so I do coding. So I also want to test how accurate the AI is. Now, the reason I'm asking this question is, believe it or not, when I started asking this question, there were some AIs which would actually answer this question using like PHP 4. If you don't know what PHP 4 is, that was an old version of PHP where they weren't using the MySQL improved. You see this one, which says MySQL, then it has I there. That's the improved version. That came out for PHP 5 and above. You can also use PHP data objects, PDO, or PDO as I call it. But this is just a little, it's not a trick question like the first one. This is just a very simple one. I just want to make sure that it provides obviously code that I can use today. So you see here when I say, I'm not being ambiguous, because when I say PHP code, I'm not going to say I need PHP 4 code, because that was end of life a very long time ago, even at the time of this recording. Okay, so it's still doing some stuff here, but what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to get, I think I'll use NetBeans for this one, and I'm going to copy this code. I'm going to start up NetBeans and make sure I don't do anything stupid here. Let me make sure NetBeans opens up in a different window. Oh, it's done. Wow, that's actually pretty fast. Usually it's so slow when it does this type of stuff. So, okay, so I like this. Obviously it used Markdown, and you see it's nicely color coded. It's 17 lines. I'm going to copy these 17 lines, and I am going to show you something here. So I'm going to copy all this. You guys can see it. I already have a file here created. So I'm going to copy and paste it here. I'll zoom in so you guys can see it. So it has a server name. It's localhost. That's correct. Username, I'm going to change that to our guy. That stands for generative AI. So I create a specific one for that. So it has the password it needs and the database name. And then it's going to connect to, it will try to connect. And then if there's an error, it will output the error. If everything's fine, it will output connected successfully. So this is a quick way. So I like this answer because it's concise. Because remember, I didn't ask for anything special. All I asked for is to connect to the database. So this is a very good answer. This could actually be perfect. It put the comments, everything's fine. The syntax is correct. And you see there's no errors. If there was errors, it would display them here. So let me actually zoom in a little bit more. I can get away with that as well. You guys should be able to see this perfectly. Okay, now that said, if you're using NetBeans on Linux, I think Linux and Windows should be the same. I can type Shift F6 to do the run. If you want to use the mouse and the menu, you go to Run here, and you obviously this is not a project. You see here it's run file. I said I'm on Linux. It might be slightly different if you're on a different operating system. I'm looking at you, Mac OS. So Shift F6. If I click this, I'm not going to type any arguments because it's a very simple thing. So if I'll press OK here, and you see here the answer was it connected successfully. So this answer is a perfect. It's perfect. That's exactly what I requested, and it provided the answer. So I'm going to minimize this. Actually, I'm going to get rid of this. And I'll explain to you why. Yeah, so okay, so that's fine. And then it does, the AI answer also explained all this what these variables do. And it even tells you how to replace the, like the local host, your username with your things. And then it says, very good here. It actually says it uses the MySQL that's MySQL improved extension to create a connection. So it explains this very well. This is a very good answer, especially if you're a beginner. It explains it very, very well. And yeah, even here, it says here, sure, here's an example of a basic PHP code snippet. It connects to the MySQL database. Very, very good. Now, I'm also using MariaDB, so it's a drop-in replacement for the most part, and it works pretty well. So with that said, I'm going to delete this chat, and I'm going to create another chat. So this answer, I don't know, it will be different from previous answer. So let's continue there. This request is, I need a 1080p screenshot of the GNOME desktop environment. So the GNOME desktop environment is mostly Linux-based desktop environment. In the past, you were able to use it on different operating systems, especially when you used to run in X11. I'm talking about like the BSDs, Unix, even when, what did Apple call the operating system before it changed it to Mac OS? Is it OS X? Yeah, when they were using the X server or X11, you were able to run it there. And also I've seen some on Windows, at least the old versions. Anyways, the point is, I'm actually using the GNOME desktop. I'm using Fedora 42, and I think it's GNOME 48. So I'll open up the settings and I'll show it to you. So go to settings so you guys can see my system. So here's my system here. So I'm gonna go to, actually I can probably maximize this. So you see system, about, and you see my system. I'm using Fedora 42 workstation. This is the hardware stuff, and this. So if I go to system, you see I only have 16 gigs of RAM. It's a pretty old system at the time of this recording. It's still using an i7 2600 from 2011. Okay, so we go here, and you can see I also have this NVIDIA GTX 550. And what else I'll tell you here? You see I'm using Wayland, and the Linux kernel 6.14. This says a workstation. That's GNOME. That's a GNOME desktop. And surprised before they would tell you the GNOME desktop. That's super weird. And that's my. I should probably change that name. Anyway, so I am using GNOME. You can tell it's GNOME because of the way this panel looks like here. Okay, with that said, so I'm definitely using Fedora. I'm using Linux and this workstation. The workstation is GNOME. Okay, so this answer, I would have given this answer a 1. However, I'll tell you why it doesn't get a 1. So let's read it together. As an AI language model, I don't have access to your computer's hardware or its display output. However, you can easily capture a screenshot of GNOME desktop using the built-in tools on most Linux distributions. So then it says to take a screenshot in GNOME, open the screen you want to capture. So let's say I want to capture this application here. Then it says press super print screen. This will copy an image of the current. Okay, so let's try that. Super key, that's usually the Windows key, or I guess the Mac key. So super key and print screen. I don't think anything happened. Let me go check my my screenshots folder. I doubt anything happened. I could be wrong though. So that's what I'm going to check. Today is the 25th. Yeah, nothing happened. So this information was probably accurate in the past, and this also assumes that you're using the GNOME desktop. Remember, my question was my request was not that I want to capture a screenshot of my GNOME desktop environment. I just said I need. So meaning that I'm okay with it grabbing one from the internet or a free open licensed image. So this was not a trick question. So this answer, I said the first part is fine, but this one where I take a screenshot is actually incorrect. Then it says open any text editor or image editing program or GIMP and paste the screenshot. This doesn't make any sense. Any text editor? Text editors do not take especially bitmap images. So this part is also wrong. Now I know GIMP. Okay, so let's open up GIMP. I'll follow that instructions. Open up GIMP. And you have to remember too, I'm using the latest version of GIMP, which is, as you can see here, 3.0. Okay, so then what did it say? It says open, I just open up GIMP and then it says Control V. Okay, so let's do Control V. Control V. Oh, there's no image data to paste. That's why I said, because this thing didn't work. Then save as, so that's completely wrong. Then it says install Scott. So this won't work because I'm using Wayland. I tried. So actually, yeah, I did try it. Actually, I might still have it installed. Let me see if I have it installed. I might have deleted it. Let me see if I still have it installed. Let's see if I have man Scott. Oh, I think I'm, let me see, man Edward. Okay, so let me see what it says. It says, and then it says sudo apt install Scott. That's wrong because that's for Debian system. I'm on Fedora, so mine will be DNF. But I am going to try, what is it, screenshot.png. Yeah, it's not installed. It wants to install it. I don't want to install it. It didn't work anyway. I did try it. And then it says a specific window. That didn't work. As I said, I'm running Wayland. So, okay, you know what? We have time, so let's actually do it. Okay. I hope I don't have anything I'm doing stupid. Yeah, that's okay. So it wants to install it. I'll say yes. So it's going to install it. Proceed with the changes. Yes. So we're going to install it. It might work. So maybe it works this time. Okay. So there we go. Screenshot. It says screenshot already exists. So it did create a screenshot. Actually, oh, it created actually two screenshots. Oh, I guess because so it created this one. So it's just black. That's why I say it did not work. See, both of them black. So that didn't work. Now, let's put this out of the way. Then it says if you want to capture a specific, to replace the window with the relevant window or process ID with another one. So I said I tried all this, but I'm going to grab this and we'll try this. Maybe you can only do one window at a time. Okay, so just to show you that I'm not making this up. So I grab that here and I'm going to paste. It says invalid option R. Now I'm going to go back to the previous command just in case you think I'm joking around. So you see I did this previous one, the screenshot.png, and you see it's just a black. That's what I said, it's not going to work. I already tried it. So let me get rid of this program because I don't need it. So it'll be sudo dnf remove scrot. Super secure. I hope I spelled the password correctly. Yes. There we go. So that's why I said that didn't work. So as I said, this answer would have been, I would have probably even given it a 1, but due to none of this stuff working, all this failed, I'm going to give this one. So if it just stopped here and says that I don't have access to your computer direct output or something, I would have given it partial mark. So this is a fail. Okay. Because it didn't answer my question. That's all I want. I don't need extra stuff. So now let's have some fun here. Okay, the next request is I need a Kotlin code snippet to open the camera using Camera 2 API and place the camera view on a texture view. So the reason I asked this question is because I actually just started programming with Kotlin this year in 2025. Before I programmed all my Android applications using either Java, C, or JavaScript. Yes, JavaScript. So when I used C, obviously I had to use the Genie JINI for you. I think it's called Java something. I don't know. I can't remember what the N stands for. I know the I is interface. So that's a way you can interface with different programming languages, for example, like C or C++, because there are a lot of libraries even to this day still, and then you can use them in Java. So because I was used to the Java ways, I've been programming Android things since 2009. So I wanted to use Kotlin, and so that way I can compare. It's the easiest way to compare is to look at the Java code and then look at the Kotlin code. So I said, hey, since I have this AI, let me try it. So this was also for the chicken webcam apps. Basically, last year in fall or autumn, I got 10 baby chicks. The reason I got 10 is because when I was watching some YouTube videos, people were saying that the chickens would you lose some of them, either from predators or from when they're fighting. So I got 10 of them. Then what happened is after 3 days, one of them died from loneliness. That would really ticked me off. So the other 9, they all reached adulthood. And at one time in winter, I was getting 9 eggs per day. Like I was overwhelmed with eggs. So now you might be saying, hey, why didn't you prepare? So what I had planned to do in fall was also to build another shed, because I knew when the chickens get adults, the space will be slightly confined, and it will still be too cold. So I wanted another shed, so that way I could split them. So it would be 5, 5, or 4, and 5. So what happened was, and they were very eager to go outside. But because I have to work and do other things, I can't just leave them, because the day predators are like foxes and hawks and crows. So I wanted them to be safe. So that's why I made the camera app. Then when I was testing the camera apps, the PWA app used a lot of battery, because it needs the web browser, the mobile web browser, to be on all the time. So that drains a lot of battery, especially if you're using an old phone. Then I found out that if it's a native app, I can actually run it as a service, meaning that I don't need to have the app open. You can also run in the background. So that means I could use way less power. And from my simple calculations, I was using about 14% of the power that the PWA app used, and that was also with the texture view. So that's why I decided to. That's why I decided to try my hand on making a native application. So as I said, I wasn't familiar with Kotlin, although that's what Google wants us to use as a default. I know how to do it in Java. So what I did was I said, hey, let me see if AI can actually produce this for me. And it wasn't able to. So far. Maybe it will be different today. Maybe this will be the first one where AI actually produces workable code. So I was able to figure it out on my own through some testing. I've actually created tutorials, live tutorials, where I made it in Java. I also made it in Kotlin. I'm still learning Kotlin. I'm not quite as comfortable with it. Probably have some biases from Java days. So I just need to get comfortable using Kotlin, and I think I should be fine. It's also because I have to access the camera, get the permission. So, I mean, with Java, when I was learning Java, for example, for Android, there are a lot of examples for desktop applications which are very helpful. But for Kotlin, it's because it's new, so I have to. The examples are not as plentiful as obviously Java. Okay, so as you notice, this is a little bit slow. So as well, it's actually producing way more code than before. So maybe this time it might actually work. Now, I'm not gonna waste too much time here. I'll wait. I'll tell you why it's not going to work. So one of the problems why it's not going to work is because most of these AI responses, they take code, but they do not actually answer the question. So I'll explain why this is still running. You can tell it's still running because the button is red here. Obviously, it's not like a click button where I think it's just an arrow to the right. So I'll explain to you why it's not going to work. So let's read this first part, the little paragraph that it provided. So it says, sure, here's an example of how you could use the Camera2 API to capture images from your device's camera and display them in a texture view. This code assumes that you've already set up your project with the necessary dependencies, Android X core libraries, Android X media libraries, and declared permissions required for the camera access in your Android manifest file. Okay, so you know what? That is a good, actually, that little snippet right there was actually missing in the previous answer. So so maybe it will work this time. So basically what it's saying is that you need to set up the project and already have the appropriate permissions. So, okay, so what I'm going to do today is that I'm going to change my mind. I'm going to open up Android Studio now because it does take a while to get the project going. And then I'm going to set up the permissions I need. Obviously, I'm going to need the camera. And I don't think I need a write access because this one is just a display. So, okay, so let's do that. So I'm going to open up Android Studio. So while this is running, another reason this is slow is because of OBS. OBS also uses the GPU, so I'm guessing this also wants to use the GPU. Oh, and the GPU only has 2 gigs of video RAM, so that's clearly not enough. So Android Studio is coming up, so while this is running, we should be able to set up a project. So it has to be a Kotlin project, so that part is correct. So here we go. So when you see this, just click on New Project. This is Android Studio, so I click New Project. I'm going to pick a empty views activity. Click Next. And the application here is going to be, what was it? Camera, texture, camera texture, how about that? It's fine, and then it's Kotlin. Obviously, I like this one because I can change it to Java, but we want is Kotlin, so I'll click Finish. Okay, so it's opening up in another window. I'll just let it run. It takes a while. Oh, this is still running. Oh, that's a little code. Oh, it looks like it's finished the coding part. Then it explains. I'll read it. I'll read this to you. Actually, I'll let it finish. Oh, wow! This answer might actually be better. It even tells you to add to your Android manifest file. You need permissions. Oh, it's actually going to give us the permissions. Okay. Okay. Very interesting. So this is this answer is actually might be better. So even though it says it assumed, it's still going to give me the code. Okay, that's fine. Please note, this code example does not cover UI layout. That's no problem. I can create a UI layout in a few seconds. Handling errors. For this purpose of this tutorial, I don't care about that. I can add those later. And it's a simplified version of how you might integrate Camera2 and texture view in an Android app. Okay. Oh, this is actually very nice. This might work. Okay, so not to waste any time, although the answer hasn't been done, I don't want to take too much time. So, okay, Android Studio is still running it, so it hasn't finished yet, so I'll let it continue. It's still creating the Gradle project. It's importing everything still. So, I think not quite done yet. Now it's scanning files to index. I'll show what's going on here so you can see it. You see down here, it's not done yet. It's still running. Oh, now it's finished. Okay, so now that this is finished, oops, I think split them here so that you guys can see what's going on. Come on. Okay, so I've split the screen here so you guys can see what's going on. Okay, so as I said before, I'm gonna need a few things. So in the Android manifest file, it's giving me the camera permission. So what I'll do is I'm going to open up the app manifest, Android manifest, and then I'm gonna add the permissions. So I'm gonna copy, oops, what's going on there? I'm gonna copy this. What in the world is going on? Oh, because it keeps on adding. Okay, I think I have to use the, I'm gonna use Control-C to copy because it keeps on adding and it's messy. Okay, oh, there it's done. Okay, oh, this is really nice. Okay, there we go. Oh, okay, this is, okay, it's finished and it put it in Markdown so it's easier to copy. So I'm gonna copy this. This is the Android manifest. So for the permissions in an Android manifest, I forget how to, okay, there we go. It's the Control key. You just go somewhere there and you paste. As you can see, I have pasted the Android permission and you see it gives me a warning. So you just right click on the warning, then it says, you can say show context actions. Then it says add users feature, or you can hit ignore. I'll just add users feature as well. So it did that for me. So then this is gone. Perfectly fine. So I'm going to save the Android manifest file. Then it says that you should create, use this code for the Android, sorry, what's this one? The linear layout. So I can't remember if this one has a linear layout, but let's go check it out. So what you do is under res, the res folder in the app, you click there and layout. Yeah, there's an activity layout. And you see that you can use the GUI, but we want the code. So you click here where it says code, the code icon, and you see by default it creates a texture view, and it's using the Android constraint layout, widget constraint layout. Okay, so I'm going to copy this code here, replace this one, and we already have a little problem here because so this is actually wrong. Luckily, I think it's just texture view, so we don't need that. So we'll just change that to texture view. So that's why I said you have to be careful with AI generated code. But that's fine. Fix that. Okay, next. Then it says for reward, you might want to improve it. Okay, we don't need that. Now you see this is the code it gave us. So what happened here is I can already see some problems. You guys probably don't see this. I can already see a problem now. If you look at this, it's grabbing the, actually, you know what? Let's copy. Okay, one thing I like about this is that, what's the name of my activity? Let's go to the activity, what I call, okay, it's just main activity. So all I have to do is change, I just have to change this from camera activity to main to main activity. That's the only thing I have to do. I was a little bit impatient. Yeah, okay, so let's copy this code. And so let's copy this code here and let's remove everything up here, delete that, just paste it. So obviously this has to be camera view. This is main activity. Yeah, main activity. Okay, so that's main activity, and I pasted everything, and you see all this red, right? So that's why I said none of this is this is the problem. None of this. So as you can tell, yeah. So camera device, texture view, so that's the problem. Now, if you're a beginner programmer, you probably won't know what to do. So for example, you see I have to create this class here, so I wouldn't know what to do here, right? See, it's unresolved. The camera device here, you see it's also unresolved. Surface holder, it's unresolved, right? So all this stuff is unresolved. The context, they're all unresolved. You see that? That's a problem with, I said I could already tell camera device, where we talked about that one. And if we go here, even the main activity, the bundle, this one, show context item, so I can import the bundle. But why should I have to? Right? The code is even this activity camera. Oh, it's called, so I'm going to change this from activity camera to activity main. Okay, that's this one here. So as I was saying, is this is the problem with, so let's change this one to import bundle. Let's see if we can fix this. And this one, camera texture view, argument is not within bounds. So should I even bother continuing? Surface holder, yeah, you see you have to import this. So let's try to import them. Maybe you can get rid of them. Is available. Let's see the camera. This one we should be able to import. Let's see if we can fix some of this. These context, is there an import? Yeah, we import the context. There's two of them, so you don't even know which one to pick. I'll just pick the first one. Obviously that might have been the wrong one. Yeah, so we go. You know, I'm not going to bother anymore. As I said, this is wrong, so I'm just going to quit this. Yeah, as I said, none of the code usually provided is accurate, so I'm just going to close this project and then just delete it. Oops. Where's close again? Close project. Okay, I have to click it and then remove from, yeah, just remove it. And then I can exit here, Android Studio. And just give me a second. I'm going to see if I can remove it from the home folder and Android projects. What did I call this one? I called it camera texture. There we go. So delete it. It's done. So let's go back here. So this is a fail. All right. So I'm going to ask the last. I'm going to perform the last request. So this request is, I need a Blender blend file for the fire animation. There's also a story with this one. This one is, I clearly don't expect it to provide me with a Blender blend file. So the answer to this one, because it's a text-based generative AI. So the correct answer should be, I cannot provide you with a Blender text, a Blender blend file, because I'm a text-based generative AI. Now, instead, this is what the AI does. It says, creating a detailed and complex fire animation in Blender requires substantial knowledge of particle systems, textures, materials, lighting, and post-processing techniques. Since I can't provide you with the entire blend file directly here, I'll give you a basic step-by-step guide to help you create your own fire animation. So that's where this one I would have given it a 1 out of score, 1 out of 1. Instead, it goes ahead and gives very dated information, surprisingly extremely complex, for no reason. While in later versions of Blender, I'm not sure, maybe at least since Blender 3 series, you can simply take any object in the default cube and simply just do, I think it's quick smoke, and then just change it to fire. So, but look at the instructions it's giving us. So it says create a base object. Why do I need a base object when there's already a default cube? It says start by creating a new Blender project and add a plane, Shift A mesh object. This will serve as a ground for fire animations, and it says use. So none of this worked. I'm gonna wait a little bit. Okay, so you know what? Let's actually get started here. I open up Blender, and the first fail, I'm just going to. So Blender opening up. I'm also going to split the screen here. I wish I could make this pane small. I'm going to split Blender as well because, okay, it's unsaved. I'm not even going to bother saving this. Okay, so I'm going to delete the default cube. So it said Shift A. So Shift A, and it says Mesh, and then it said a plane. Okay, so I've added a plane. All right. So that's number one here. Number two, it says add a particle system. Select your plane is already selected, and it goes right click, open up the context menu. Okay, so I'll right click, and then it says choose the particle systems. Now, do you guys see anything there that says particle systems? We just have it's smooth, shade auto smooth, shade flat, convert to, set origin, copy objects, paste objects, duplicate linked, rename active object, mirror, and you see the mirror sub menu. There's snap, there's parent, move to collection, insert keyframe with a keying set, and delete. So there's no such thing as particle systems. However, in this here, there might be some particle systems here. So let's go through these ones. Object. Nope, not there. Modifiers. Particles. There's particles here. Do I click plus? There we go. That's where it is. It's in the side pane. Okay, so I finally got the particles particle properties here. The particle system. I have to add one. So then let's see if we can actually continue here. Then it says in particle add settings tab under emission. Okay, we're in emission now. Type, choose simple emitter. What? You see, this information is very, very old. And then it says under particles, shape. What in the world are they talking about? There's no such thing here. Right? So, yeah, there's no such thing here. So, there you go. There you go. So, this is all wrong. And I said, look, this is way too complex. So, I said, I'm not even going to bother with whatever they want there, because this is all wrong. Very, very, very wrong. Right? So, as you can see, that's very, very wrong. So, that's why I said I didn't even bother saving this. I'll just delete it. And let's wrap this up. So, this information is so dated. And not because this AI is from 2021. It's dated. Even back then, this information will be dated. So, there you go. I'm not even, I don't even want to, like, if it had stopped maybe after just the one sentence, or maybe even the second one I can't provide you directly here, that would have been fine. Half of the second sentence, that would have been fine. But I gotta fail it because it didn't answer my question and it provided wrong information. I'll prefer if it says I can't do it. Be honest, instead of providing information that is that is wrong. And that's the problem with most AIs. They will not admit they're wrong. They will provide wrong information. So I would say that's a fail. Now let's go and before we quit this application, delete chat. Before we do that, let's go back to the web browser. Here we go. Let's do a quick overview of the results. Who is the mayor of Toronto? Inaccurate, outdated answer to Olivia Chow. PHP code snippet, provided accurate syntax. Yeah, so this was correct. I was able to connect to the MySQL database. The 1080p screenshot, it provided an elaborate answer to generate the answer because it's a text-based AI lacking ability. As I said, this one I have to fail it because the answer I gave is wrong. It should not have. It should have just have said I can't do it. That's a better answer. The Kotlin code, it was incomplete, as you saw. I don't even need to say anything else. You guys saw when I opened up in Android Studio. And when I asked it for the Blender blend file, it also produced another elaborate answer to Unify application, but not a Blender file because it's a text-based. So that one, it's up to you how you interpret these results, but I think that it didn't do too bad. It would have done much better if you just said, I can't do it. Even for the Kotlin code, instead of producing inaccurate, either dated code or code that doesn't work. All right. So it also has, if you notice, it also had the multilingual task, logic reasoning, and step-by-step explanation. So that is a good way if you want to learn, especially very basic things. It will actually do a pretty good job. I was actually impressed with that. It explains things, but if you want something even slightly more elaborate, the explanation is wrong. So that might put you off. You're better off doing this right here. If you need help with the AI and getting somebody who will install it for you properly and learning. So I'm working on a tutorial where I will actually install this, create our own application and train it. So maybe to produce better results. Okay, now with that said, if you need help with the, not just Qwen2, but any others, like install it using Ollama or any other application or customer, and I can assist. As I said, you can contact me here on this blog, or you can go to jamboservices.com/contact, or you can leave a comment even just below this video, and I'll be able to help you as soon as possible. All right, let's make AI more accessible together. Okay, so you can see the resources here where you can get Qwen2 on GitHub, the model card, and the Qwen Ollama documentation. And obviously Alpaca, the GitHub description. So I do have links there in the article. I do reference all my sources. Okay, with that said, I don't see any chat requests, so I'm going to end this live stream pretty soon. But quick reminder that I host a live stream every day. So you go to watch menu, live, and you can see the topics for this and future live streams. The channel they're going to be on and the date and time. And I implore you to subscribe, like, follow, and leave comments for more frequent content. And with that, I'll leave you and I'll see you guys tomorrow in the next live stream.